This is the Mets Postcast, your instant game reaction for the New York Mets. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
The New York Mets did it again. It was another comeback victory against the Philadelphia Phillies. This time a walk-off winner courtesy of Brandon Nimmo. The Mets have now won 9 straight games, including the postseason at Citi Field against the Phillies, and they have pulled within 5 games of the top spot in the NL East. Welcome into the Mets Postcast, here live on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel and in the Locked On Mets podcast feed. Your Postcast host, Chris Schubert, here with you after each and every Mets game throughout the course of the season. The Mets did it again. They got to the Phillies bullpen. That's been a theme dating back to the postseason last year. They counterpunched after being delivered a haymaker in the 8th. Trust me, we will get to that and Ryan Helsley's future on this ball club and what role he should be in. But it is another celebratory night for the New York Mets as they get 4 straight hits against Jhoan Duran, and they walk off the Philadelphia Phillies to take the first 2 games of this series and draw another game closer in the standings. So that 9th inning, that is where we will start tonight's postcast.
This is what you'll be talking about.
After just an excellent job by Edwin Diaz, not just in the 8th inning to keep the game at 5-5, but the job in the 9th inning against Schwarber, Harper, and Realmuto to just get both of Schwarber and Harper swinging and then get Realmuto to ground out. Pete made me a little uneasy there with that high toss, but it was a 1-2-3 inning for Diaz, and he just set the Mets up. And while it wasn't the top part of the lineup, it's the guys who have been really hot for this team. Starling Marte, how good has he been for this team as of late? He got things started with a single. Pete Alonso, what a great night at the plate, and he certainly needed that. It was a 4-hit game for Pete. He kept the line moving. Brett Baty, who was brought in for defense when the Mets were holding on to a 5-3 lead. Sometimes you need the baseball gods to shine some luck on you, and that's exactly what happened on Brett Baty's little bloop dunk, whatever you want to call it, single that loaded the bases, and you just had this feeling. And it's a feeling that we haven't had a bunch this year. It's a feeling that we've wanted this team to have, but it's just this feeling that you know how it's going to go. And with 3 chances at that point to try to drive in the run, the Mets only needed 1. They needed Brandon Nimmo with an RBI single, and they walked off the Philadelphia Phillies. And just for the second straight night, let's just call it what it was. We saw the 2024 Mets over the last 2 nights. We saw a team have that fight. We saw that team get knocked down, but get back up. They did it last night after trailing 3-0. They did it in this game, not once, but twice, as they were down 2-0 early in this game and responded right away. I mean, you want to talk about the fight in this game? Let's talk about the 5th inning. Phillies score 2 runs. They take a 2-0 lead. It's immediate. And it, just like with Christopher Sanchez the night before, with the balk being the thing that was his downfall, how about a hit by pitch to the number 9 hitter when you're ahead in the count 1-2? Jesus Luzardo was ready to blow up in this game. I mean, you just need to go back to the first at bat against Juan Soto, where he was angry at Soto, was angry at the umpire, was clearly rattled, and it felt like any close call he didn't get, that sent him further into a spiral, yet he was still putting up zeros. That hit by pitch to Luis Torrens in the 5th inning to the number 9 hitter set everything up. And Lindor singles, Soto singles. It's immediately 2-1. The Phillies go to the bullpen. We know how that story has gone as of late for the Mets. Mark Vientos, honorary mayor, governor, owner of the Philadelphia Phillies, mayor, governor of the city of Philadelphia, just continues to hit well against this team. Alonso had a double to give the Mets the lead. Nimmo had the sacrifice fly. And just like that, the Mets were down 2-0. They turned it into a 5-2 lead with a 5-run 5th inning. The fight, the battle back, the immediate counterpunch. You saw it right away. And then they were dealt a huge blow in that 8th inning when Harrison Bader hit the home run to tie the game at 5. We'll get to that a little bit later because I want to talk about what this bullpen needs to look like moving forward. But you're deflated. You're feeling like you got a decent start from Manaea. Your offense did the thing and bounced back. And you got to the Super Bullpen. Rogers was great. Helsley was in the game. You're thinking to yourself, get this game to Edwin Diaz, and the Mets are going to win another one, and you're going to feel great about things. That home run kind of let the air out of the balloon, but that did not stop the New York Mets. What an excellent job from Edwin Diaz. And again, in that ninth inning, just 4 straight hits, did not let the fact that they had given up the lead the inning prior get in their way. And it was just everybody contributed in that inning. Marte to Alonso to Beatty to Nimmo. Nobody was trying to do too much. Nobody's trying to hit the ball out of the yard. Everybody just trying to do their job, pass the baton to the next guy. And the Mets certainly did it. And listen, this is the postcast. This is where we overreact. This is instant reactions. This is where we kind of let it all out. How do you not feel like this team, now just 5 games back, Nolan McLean going tomorrow for this squad, you can't start dreaming of a world where they're able to close this gap and make this a competitive divisional race through the month of September with the way this offense is playing, with the pitching that they're starting to get? I mean, how do you not feel like, I see somebody already mentioning it, but the parabolic mic incident of August 25th, 2025 into another Philly bullpen meltdown at Citi Field? How do you not feel like the things are starting to turn for the New York Mets? Hitting, the pitching's there, the bullpen we got to sort out, but it just feels like there's a lot of good vibes. 2024 was the year of the vibes for the New York Mets. It's felt like this team hasn't had those vibes. The week that they're having, Jonathan coming up on Friday, it just feels like the vibes have flipped the switch in a big way for this team. Want to break down Sean Manaea's start because I thought this was the best version of him that we have seen here in a little bit. I do want to talk about the bullpen. I didn't mind going to Helsley, but moving forward, I think we're going to have to change some things up in a big way and perhaps for good for the remainder of this season. The stuff to keep an eye on. My thoughts on Jonathan coming up here to make a start on Friday, and your thoughts, obviously, always welcome as well. We'll get to all of it here on the other side. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or you just need a little extra push to power you through the day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about the good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Expires October 31st, 2025. August 26th, that's today. It is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you the deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. Take that flyer, crown that champ, pick those New York teams to win the division as your dark horse picks. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Back here on the Mets Postcast, the Locked On Mets YouTube channel, the Locked On Mets podcast feed. I've seen some of you mention this. I saw David mention it. I saw Jack mention it. I see Ricardo mention it. One of the most complete team wins, win of the year, best win of the season. You certainly feel like when the calendar flips to August, when the calendar flips to September, and you're in the middle of a playoff race, and you're playing your division rival, and you're trying to close the gap, and you come back the way that you did in this game, you rally for the walk-off winner in the 9th inning, yeah, certainly puts this one up there as one of the marquee wins so far of the season. And again, the team just continues to stack up good performances. They take 2 out of 3 from Atlanta. We feel kind of some type of way about not getting the sweep on Sunday, but the switch gets flipped very quickly for this team, and they've taken the first 2 of this series. So just a really nice job from the Mets tonight. And again, they're just showing that fight back. They're showing that battle that we have seen from this team last year, missing it for a lot of this year. We're seeing it right now. And for all the complaints that we had all year about them not really showing this when things got tough, you need this team to have this type of trait right now, and they have it in a big way. I thought Sean Manaea was better tonight. Not great, Not what the Mets need, but better. The fourth inning has been his issue. Basically, the second time through the lineup is a better way to describe where things have kind of gone south and turned sour for Sean Manaea. And it was a little better today. He did get through that fourth inning, but could not complete 5. The final line for Manaea, 4 2/3, the 6 hits, the 2 earned runs, the 8 strikeouts, sinker up in the zone, was using that sweeper, used the changeup a lot more. And we have said that he needs that third pitch. Can't really just be a 2-pitch pitcher and expect to second, third time through still have that extra bite, that extra life to throw these hitters off. You're going to lose velocity and stamina as the game goes on. They're going to have a better feel for your pitches as we get later into the game, as they see you another turn through. You got to have that little wrinkle. You have to have that extra thing that can keep them guessing and throw them off the second and third time through. He used the changeup a little bit more, but again, better, still not great. David Stern said before the game a couple of things. With Manaea, he said it's still about a stamina thing. It certainly felt like he worked up a little bit more stamina here tonight, throwing 90 pitches. But he also said something very interesting. He said the rotation right now is turn by turn, start by start. Carlos Mendoza, when asked about Kodai Senga's performance and Jhoan Duran coming up and pitching in this rotation, performance matters this time of year. So the Mets have made it clear. 2 different people, 2 different answers, 2 different questions, saying that if you're going to have a spot in this rotation the rest of this month and in the month of September, you're going to earn it. They already have called up one prospect. They're calling up another prospect on Friday. We know there's a third prospect waiting in the wings to get called up to potentially help this team. You've got to perform. Sean Manaea, I thought, performed better tonight, but not at the place the Mets need him to be if he is going to avoid maybe Brendan Sproat taking his rotation spot or Jhoan Duran taking his rotation spot. The Mets very clearly are not afraid to be aggressive with their 2 pitchers. So far, it's working great for Nolan McLean. We'll see what it looks like here for Jhoan Duran on Friday. As you can tell, I'm a little amped up for Friday's start already here at the beginning of the week. Let's talk about the bullpen because there are changes needed urgently. The Mets only got 4 2/3 from Manaea tonight, so they had to use the bullpen in a big way. Gregory Soto came in. Boy, is it a tale of 2 Sotos here? Because when he first got here, he was lights out, didn't walk, didn't have those command issues, was throwing up zeros, wasn't giving up runs. Now his last 2 outings have really been a cause for concern. He just has not looked the same. And for a team right now that I think scrambling to find a third piece that they can trust at the back end of this bullpen alongside Edwin Diaz and Tyler Rogers, I thought Gregory Soto could be that guy. These last 2 outings certainly making me very concerned of putting him in those high leverage situations. They probably need to stay away from that here moving forward. Brazoban, it wasn't pretty, but he kept the Mets in the lead. Rogers, 7 pitches, a quick 1-2-3 inning against the heart of the Phillies order. And this is where things diverge a little bit because Rogers is a guy that can throw multiple innings. Rogers is a guy that can do the up downs, right? Rogers is a guy that can be used multiple days in a row. You don't have to worry about really managing his workload. And so when he throws 7 pitches, you know that you're going to really have him with the way that he throws. He kind of has a rubber arm, and I mean that as a compliment. He can kind of just go out there and throw. Should there have been an argument to be made for Rogers to get at least the start there of the 8th inning? And I think there is very much an argument to be made. I personally didn't have a problem in the moment going to Helsley in the 8th inning. When you traded for the guy, and you traded for Rogers, it was set up, super bullpen, Rogers, Helsley, Diaz. That's what you wanted to assemble. Helsley has been struggling. The Mets moved him out of the role of being the 8th inning guy to get his confidence back. He had a decent outing the night before. And let's face it, you've got to test him in a high leverage spot. You're not going to know if the tipping issue that he's dealing with is in the past. You're not going to know if his confidence has been completely, put back together until he is put into a high leverage situation. So you kind of have to test it. And you tested it right away. You tested it the day after he had a good outing. And guess what? He failed the test. He did not pass the test tonight for the New York Mets. And so they can't continue to try this. They can't continue to move him to low leverage and then move him back to high leverage and then move him to low leverage and move him back to high leverage. Ryan Helsley cannot be in a high leverage situation for the New York Mets right now. Just can't happen. I have no problem with you putting him in there tonight after a good outing, you wanting to test him a little bit, but that's it. The test is over. I don't need to see this experiment anymore. This trade has not worked out well for the New York Mets. The Mets need to have Rogers as their eighth inning guy, Diaz as their ninth inning guy. Now, you're going to ask who's pitching in the seventh, and I think that should be Brooks Raley's inning to patrol. And so I think Raley into Rogers into Diaz is the way that you set up. And you just have to try to figure it out. That's why you need length from your starters. That's why you need somebody else. Brazoban hopefully can find some stability here. Maybe Helsley in the sixth inning can be a lot better. Maybe Ryan Stanek can be better. You cannot have Ryan Helsley in high leverage situations here moving forward. Just cannot happen. You need to move Rogers into that role. He's been great. He probably should have gotten the 2 innings tonight with the benefit of hindsight. With the way Diaz is pitching, was excellent again tonight. Give Diaz a good setup, man. And then Raley's been really good since coming back from the injury. I think he should be moved up the pecking order to be the seventh guy. And so seventh should be Raley, eighth should be Rogers, ninth should be Diaz on a night when all three of those guys are available. And then in that sixth inning or on nights when those guys are unavailable, you're going to be throwing darts at a dartboard. You're going to be hoping that tonight's the night that Gregory Soto has it. Tonight's the night that Ryan Helsley has it. Tonight's the night that Ryan Stanek can have it. If these guys are out there in the pen, they're going to have to be utilized. To me, the best way that they can do this right now is the three guys that I mentioned in the seventh, eighth, and ninth. And then the rest of those guys get their chances when those players aren't available. But mostly, they're the bridge guys. They're the guys that are coming in the fifth, in the fourth, in the sixth, when the starter can't go deep into the game and pass the baton to those high leverage arms that I think most of us trust at this point. I think most of us trust Raley, Rogers, and Diaz to close things out. Is it ideal? No. Is it the way they wanted to set this up? No. But you have to be adaptable. Good organizations don't allow what they did at the deadline to dictate their entire rest of the summer, right? You have to adapt. You have to look at the situation and say, you know what, this isn't working. We cannot continue to do this. And I think that's where the Mets are going to be. The stuff to keep an eye on, that's certainly one. Jhoan Duran on Friday, certainly another. How exciting is it for the Mets to aggressively promote aggressively promote another prospect who has just made a handful of starts down in AAA, has dominated, has had the best numbers. Just pick a statistic in the minor leagues this year. He's been the best pitcher. He throws 2 really good pitches. He's working on his breaking stuff to kind of add those in. So it'll be interesting to see what the plan is on Friday. But man, just some excitement this afternoon when they made that announcement. And just some buzz. The win last night, into that news today, and now capped off with a win here tonight. Just a great night for the New York Mets, battling back once again. Brandon Nimmo is the walk-off hero. The Mets have won 2 in a row in this series against the Philadelphia Phillies. They've won 9 in a row, dating back to last season's postseason at Citi Field against the Mets. We talk about Atlanta being a house of horrors for the New York Mets. Citi Field is a house of horrors for the Philadelphia Phillies, and hopefully Nolan McLean can do that tomorrow. And I've seen a bunch of you mention it. Wholeheartedly agree that I know this is pressure to put on him after he's been great in his first 2 starts, but boy, could use some length out of Nolan McLean with the way that they've had to use their bullpen tonight and last night. Certainly would love to see 6 or 7 out of McLean so that you don't have to overwork your bullpen. Again, the Mets are in the middle of a really hard stretch. They start 4 with Miami right after this series concludes, no days off. So you're going to need a couple of times here over the next couple of days where your starter goes deep. Who better than the guy who's done each of his 2 starts at the big league level? And I got to tell you, not worried in the slightest about Nolan McLean and the pressure of this start, the pressure of facing the Phillies in this big series with a chance for a sweep, for a chance to make it just 4 games, the deficit. I don't worry about his ability to block out that noise and just go out there and battle because he's shown it a bunch in his first 2 starts. Appreciate all of you joining us here on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that you are notified when we go live. If you're listening to us after the fact in the podcast feed and you do want to join us, the moment the Mets game concludes, push a big red button that says go live, and we are here to hang out after each and every Mets game throughout the course of the season, and we are here. We're going to be here tomorrow. We'll be here the rest of the week. We'll be here for Jhoan Duran's debut on Friday. We are grinding out this big, long stretch for the New York Mets just like they are. We will be here each and every night to break down this team. Another good one here for the Mets. They continue to play some really good ball. Winners of 4 of their last 5. They have shrunk the gap to 5 games in the NL East. Cincinnati is just getting underway with the Dodgers, so keep an eye on that because the Mets could grow that lead to 3.5 games by the time you and I speak again tomorrow. Another great night for the Mets. They continue to live rent-free in Philadelphia's head. especially when they play at Citi Field. We're back again tomorrow to break down the series finale. Nolan McLean goes for the sweep, and the Mets look to cut this division lead deficit to just 4 games. Have a good one, Mets fans.